You're listening to Thursday Night AMP on the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
All right. Well, the big news coming out of that show would be that the 15-year journey of Christopher Daniels in Ring of Honor finally came full circle. He won the Ring of Honor World title, which leaves most people thinking that Adam Cole is going to WWE in April. So, Abby, your thoughts on it first.
Well, addressing the Cole part, it kind of got added to the next night with the television tapings when Cole, quote-unquote, fired the Young Bucks from the Bullet Club. And, now they're calling in Kenny Omega, and that kind of broke down on Twitter today, with the Bucks posting a video and this, that, and the other.
I believe they said something to the effect of, "You can't fire us, you're not our boss."
Yeah, basically, you do realize that we invited your ass to join the Bullet Club, not the other way around. And there's only, one leader of the Bullet Club, and that's Kenny Omega.
Right. So that sounds like Kenny Omega is going to be making some more appearances for Ring of Honor here in the very near future.
That's what it sounds like, but last I heard, his whole thing with the visa issues still wasn't cleared up, which is why he hadn't been in the States for so long.
Well, hopefully they can clear that up in time for the Supercard of Honor, but if not, I'm sure they can play out the angle a little while longer.
I would hope so. But getting back to Christopher Daniels winning, it was a great match. I loved the match. But of course, as soon as it was over, everybody was starting like, oh, look at this, Ring of Honor and WWE are both going to have, almost 50-year-old champions. It's like, okay, the difference is, Christopher Daniels can work a 30-minute match and bump all over the place, and Bill Goldberg takes one bump every 15 years.
Right, and Christopher Daniels has been actively wrestling this entire time. Goldberg has not.
Exactly, and, Daniels can still put on better matches than, I would say, 3/4 of the WWE roster.
There's a reason they call it the best moonsault ever, and it's not just self-aggrandizing. It really is that damn good.
Yeah, and to see him do it, and it wasn't just one or two, it was like 3.
Mm-hmm. He put away Adam Cole convincingly. There was no doubt he won the match at the end.
The trifecta of the best moonsault ever.
Indeed. So, other than that, what other news from Ring of Honor would you like to address while we're doing this in our first segment of the show?
The rest of the card was really good, too, and it's like, you don't hear much out of Ring of Honor except for their pay-per-views, which seem to be some of the best around.
Mm-hmm.
And was it Dish TV that did not decide to air it, or was it?
Yeah, it was Dish. They backed down from the cease and desist that they were sent by Anthem Sports.
Yes, and the Hardys really didn't do the whole broken gimmick, but they did not do it.
Right. They just downplayed it to a great degree. They came out dressed the way they would normally dress and acting how they would normally act, but not specifically referencing things and not playing up the delete chants.
They didn't say anything. That was just it.
Right. They didn't play it up. They didn't play it down. They just
they let
the crowd do what the crowd was going to do. Exactly.
Yeah. And they had a really good match, and Marty Scurll and Leo Rush had a very good match.
Mm-hmm. Now, wasn't Leo Rush a late addition to the card last week, if I recall correctly?
No.
Oh, I thought
he and Marty's match was set for a while.
Okay. I remember seeing it announced, but maybe it was the TV taping that I'm thinking of.
I think the only match that we didn't know of was the 6-man mayhem for the number one contender to the television title.
I really like that match. I mean, that gets an honorable mention on my list of matches for the year. I don't think it's going to quite make the cut because it wasn't long enough and because, pinning Cheeseburger is just too easy. But other than that, it was fantastic.
Yeah, and of course Cheeseburger is always going to be the underdog fan favorite in a situation like that. Even though he's never going to get it, everybody's going to want him to. And
he came out in a Hayabusa mask. You got to respect that.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandmother's bathrobe, I swear that looked like, an old woman robe. It's like, what? I looked at it, it was pink and flowery, and it's like, okay, I get the Hayabusa mask, but what's with the robe? looks like he stopped by, Kmart's lingerie section and picked up the first thing he saw.
I'm just going to say that's cheeseburger being cheeseburger. That's all I can think.
Oh, I know.
And Hangman Page hitting that insane shooting star press off the apron. That was amazing.
Well, speaking of insane, we have to talk about TK O'Ryan.
Oh, ow. Do we have to? That was painful to watch. I'm sure he's in more pain.
Yeah, sorry if I'm stealing your thunder there, Abby. You might have been saying the same thing.
No, I was going to talk about another oh my god moment out of that 6-man match. Well, that was Punisher Martinez. I remember how boring he was during the Honor Rising shows.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then in this match, he suddenly got a personality and ability, and he's 8 feet tall and can fly.
I think I figured it out. It's Punisher Martinez is the boring one. Punishment Martinez is the good one.
Whatever the translation. Oh yeah, but back to TK O'Ryan. Good God, that I sat here and it's like he just broke both his legs.
Well,
he just broke both his legs.
He only broke one, but he broke it in 2 places, so that's almost as bad.
Yes, he is. From what I can gather from him off Twitter, is still in the hospital. Hopefully he will get out soon, but at least what he's saying now, he's not said he's out of the hospital.
Mm-hmm. I didn't see that he said that either, and I wouldn't expect it. I'm not trying to laugh, but goodness, he's not going to be doing anything anytime soon, let alone getting out of the hospital in a hurry.
Yeah, and the thing is, Ring of Honor, they need more area. If they're going to do moves like that, they need more space between the ring and the guardrail. And from the people that were there in attendance, they told me nothing was even. No side of the ring had the same amount of distance between the guardrail and the ring itself.
It's
like, you guys are going to be doing moves like this. You got to give the guys room to do them.
That is almost par for the course from my experience with going to Ring of Honor pay-per-views and TV tapings and shows. Is they are not uniform all the way around. It's not like a WWE setup at all.
Good Lord, he did that move and it's like slammed his legs into the guard. It's like, oh hell, he's dead.
It looked bad, and even the announcers knew it was bad, and they knew it was broken as soon as he hit that move. They're like, "That's how you break a shin. That's how you break a leg." Like, yeah,
and he did.
Happened.
Well, all I can say is it's bad and it sucks, and hopefully he gets better soon. It's not going to be an easy road recovering from that, though, so it may be quite a while before we see him back in a ring.
Yeah, I felt really bad after that happened of panning the match in my review. It's like, I probably should have been nicer to these guys. I was nice to him, it's like, oh my God, listen to what this guy did. But yeah, it was like, I was really nasty about it. And it's like, this poor guy did this, moonsault thing over the top rope and damn near died. Yeah.
And I hate to keep saying it's not the first time I've seen that in Ring of Honor, but I've seen guys damn near die several times at live ROH shows. I once saw Mark Briscoe take a gainer head first into the concrete, and I thought he killed himself. And I'm trying not to laugh, but it's like every Ring of Honor show I go to, somebody tries to kill themselves.
Well, Mark Briscoe has a head like a rock, so.
That's probably the only reason he survived, because I'm not kidding when I say he went straight down head first. It was brutal.
Oh.
On to more brighter and cheerier things on the ROH show. How about Jay White and his Kokeshi headbutt?
Yeah, nice little tribute to Hanma there.
We hadn't heard much out of New Japan about Hanma since the update last week.
No, it's pretty much the same as before. They're afraid to move him because of the fact that they don't think he's stable enough yet.
But it seems like everybody that, in the people that have been in Ring of Honor, in New Japan that are somewhere else, and even the people in New Japan are channeling their inner Hanma on shows to get that Kokeshi in somewhere.
Right. A lot of tributes to him right now. Probably more than there've ever been in his career, all at once.
It was good to see Jay White do that. It was good to see Jay White pick up a win. That kind of shocked me. I'm like, wow, Jay White went over in the first match.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't good to see Jay White's hair. That's bad. Somebody needs to tell him, no, don't. Just stop. It's bad.
I don't know.
I tried to get the people that were there in attendance, go up to Jay and tell him to stop it. You're at Dunkin' Donuts. He's like 5 feet away. Just go politely say, hey, fix your damn hair.
Are we reaching Tana levels of disdain for the hair with you at this point?
Jay's hair looks. Y'all have to look back at the pay-per-view and his hair. It's like, what did you do? Dip your head partially in peroxide and bleach, shave the sides of it, and then just say, "Hey, this looks good," and then just go on with it. At least Tana puts in an effort, too much of an effort, but
I don't know.
It's just bad.
I'm actually looking at a picture right now of both him and Leo Rush, and between the two, I really can't decide whose haircut would be worse.
Leo is
Rush.
up there too.
Yeah, Leo looks like he stuck his finger in an electric socket. I mean, damn. I never even thought about it till now, but that just looks like all the hair in his body went.
Oh.
So that was the Ring of Honor 15th anniversary show. Great main event, great card, very
I
satisfying.
really liked
overall.
the main event, how they did that Japanese convention where we had Cole hit Angel's wings on Daniels, and then Daniels hit Cole with the last shot. I really liked that Japanese convention of stealing each other's finishing move.
Yeah. Oh, I would say that's kind of a convention for a big pay-per-view, big main event anymore, because we saw The Rock and John Cena do the exact same thing of stealing each other's moves. We've seen Okada and Tanahashi do it as well, so it's just kind of the big match thing to do now.
Oh God, the tag team title match. Trent actually did survive the match.
Oh god, those thumbtacks were brutal.
The thumbtacks, the going through the table, having
the mouthful of tacks.
Mouth.
That's the part that really gets me, the mouthful of tacks.
The power bomb on the ramp. It's like Trent is not having luck with entrance ramps this year.
No, I'm glad
First missing that dive.
I'm glad you guys brought that up. I didn't want to skip that, and I almost did, so thank you, but again, ow, ow, ow.
And the saddest part was that Roppongi Vice seemed much like an afterthought in this match. I never felt like Roppongi Vice was in any danger of winning the titles.
Well, until Rocky went all batshit and got that sleeve thing out.
Oh, the forever lariats with the thumbtack sleeve.
Yeah, and you look at Nick Jackson afterwards, and it's like, he's like, even spray tan won't cover this shit, Like the next day, even, spray tan won't even cover this mess.
And holy shit with Nick Jackson with that springboard swanton falling off of a ladder. Springboard swanton to the outside. Mad props for that move.
It was an insane match.
Indeed. Well, speaking of insane, I believe we have a Tomohiro Ishii match from the New Japan Cup that we should talk about as well.
Oh.
Yeah, we can talk about that one.
I would have been shocked if nobody wanted to talk about that one, because I'm thinking that's going on the Match of the Year candidates.
Yeah, that's on my list.
Yes, that made my list.
You just made the list.
But the good list.
Yes, the list you want to be on.
Well, the first night of the New Japan Cup, that was kind of
Dull.
Disappointing. Tana and Evil was really good, except for Tana's hair, which was really bad. He braided one side of it all the way around, like
and that
3
was
rows
it.
of braids. Yeah, and then the rest was kind of just hanging there. It's like
no ponytail, nothing else, just braids on one side, and then he said, that's enough.
Yeah, that's enough. I can't do anymore. His match with Evil was good. And
I totally didn't see Evil winning. That took me by surprise.
No, it's like every single person I have picked to win has not won except Shibata. It was like, and Juice. But Evil winning over Tana's like, well, hell, I didn't see that. Who else was on the first night?
Elgin lost to Fale, which, again, another one I didn't see coming.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Nagata beat Tongaloa.
And that, I swear to God, Tongaloa squeaking like a 3-year-old girl during this match just turned me off of it. It's like, I can't, because it wasn't him screaming or making noise. It was literally squeaking like a little kid. And then, of course, Yano won, which we kind of all expect Yano to win, period.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember who he beat, though.
Tama Tonga.
Yeah, that's not surprising. But yeah, the only thing good to me about the first night was Evil and Tana.
I liked Evil's missed, but the match, other than it just shocking me that Evil did missed and won, it was kind of like, It's like, I was shocked that Elgin lost to Fale. I was shocked that Evil won. I was shocked that Evil used the mist. I was like, that's a cool spot. But the show just kind of left me flat.
Then the next night, though, made up for it. We had
indeed.
Sonata and Yoshihashi, which was better than it had any right to be. We had, Juice. No, was it Juice?
Yeah, Juice beat the Sleaze.
Yeah, Juice beat Yujiro, which really wasn't. The only thing surprising about that was that the cameraman did not get arrested for assault during Yujiro's entrance. With as close as he got to Peter Rabbit. I mean, so close. If he got any closer, he would have been up there inside her.
Oh.
Any closer, he'd be giving her a colonoscopy.
Yeah, exactly. And we're not joking.
Any closer, and we'd be calling the law to put handcuffs on him.
That's why I said I'm surprised that, I mean, if he'd have gotten an inch closer to her, he'd have been arrested for assault.
Well, that's New Japan cameramen in general, because they always used to do that to Maria Kanellis as well.
I was just about to say Maria Kanellis.
Yeah. And then we had Shibata versus Suzuki, and it was like, just sitting here is like, oh, this is going to be so great, so great. And it was really good, but it just fell a little bit short.
It wasn't quite the beautiful death murder that you were hoping for.
It was beautiful death and murder, but it wasn't. I think for me it was the end that was just like, it was so sudden and kind of anticlimactic that it was like, oh wait, hang on, that's it? It's over? It's like you blink and it was done.
Well, that's kind of your reaction to Shibata the finish of Shibata matches in general.
No, this was different.
That's generally my reaction to Shibata matches, where in this one I'm saying, hell yes, the Death Valley Driver is a much better setup for the penalty kick than a sleeper. I have the opposite.
Yeah, but it was just like, I blinked sitting here doing my review, and it's like, wait, hang on, what did I miss? It's over? I knew I saw a penalty kick, but it's like, there's this 5-second sequence, and it was done.
Yeah, there were actually a couple of UFC fights this weekend that were the same way, where I was looking down and typing something and looking up and like, holy shit, it's already over? What?
But it was good to see Red Shoes get Tai Chi the hell out of ringside and send him to the back. Thank you, Red Shoes. Thank you.
I really wanted at the beginning of that match when Tai Chi got up in Shibata's face, it's like, I will pay you to kill him. It won't take much. Just hit him real hard and he'll die.
One shoot kick to the head.
Oh, Lord. But yes, then we got to Kenny Omega and Tomohiro Ishii, and I swear, yeah, this is right up there with the best that I've seen this year. Mm-hmm. Ishii, it's like people forget that he's just a machine, because you see him in these tag matches and you see him be a pit bull, but you don't see everything he can do. And then you put him in a singles match like this and it's like, damn, he's one of the best in New Japan. And then Kenny is just Kenny. He's in a universe by himself these days.
Yeah, and has been for a little while. Go ahead, Jason.
I was going to say, Ishii went for a good match, was like half an hour long, just a hair short of half an hour. But yeah, Ishii, for a guy his size, going half an hour with a guy with the vigor of Kenny Omega, and Ishii just not getting blown up and holding his own speaks volumes. And yes, Ishii is definitely one of the top guys and can be a top singles guy in New Japan.
I mean, Ishii went full-on luchador in this match, doing Frankensteiners off the top rope.
Yeah, that Avalanche Frankensteiner spot was... We've seen Lucha Nakanishi, now we're seeing Lucha Ishii.
It's like, I sat here, it's like, I didn't just see that. And I rewound a little bit, it's like, oh, fuck. Yep. He actually did that. But yeah, Ishii pulled out moves I've never seen him do before. And, Kenny was his regular spastic, incredible self. And it was like, oh my God. I mean, it wasn't the masterpiece that Omega and Okada was, but it was damn good.
But they played really well off each other, because Omega is just very loud and boisterous and outgoing, where Ishii is just kind of silent and inward and reserved and just, thinking about his next
deadly
move. And yes. planning the next move to take your head off.
Oh, yeah.
It was so good. If you have not seen this match, find a way to see it.
Yeah, I'm not saying bootleg it or anything, but if you can't afford 999 yen for a month, then just look around. It's probably uploaded somewhere that you can watch.
I gift all the high spots.
This match was better than Suzuki versus Shibata, so that should tell you something.
Yeah, it really was.
Mm-hmm.
And then over the week, we've had the non-televised matches that got uploaded on World, and Evil beat Nagata, so he's in the semifinals.
There was something off about that match. It might have been the hard cam, but it just bored the piss out of me. I mean, there were some nice false finishes at the end with that one and a little back and forth, but it just wasn't doing it for me, those two.
And then Fale beat Yano, which that match was hilarious.
It was, yeah. He gets athletic tape. Fale gets athletic tape to the guardrail, and just intent not to be counted out, he rips the entire guardrail apart and takes about a 12-foot section of guardrail with him back into the ring, well, almost into the ring, enough for Red Shoes to break the count, and then help him get that damn guardrail off his arm.
It was hilarious. And then last night it was Juice and Shibata is going, and who else was it?
That hasn't made it to air yet, has it?
Yeah, I think so. Well, or it will tonight.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. When I was looking this afternoon, it wasn't there, but I guess that'll be up tonight.
Yeah, Shibata won.
I saw the result, but I haven't seen the match.
And then the other match that'll be, I think, tomorrow is
Ishii and Sonata.
Yeah, that should be pretty good. And at this point,
murder.
I don't know who to expect to win.
Yeah, the whole first round kind of blew a lot of my picks out of the water. Tanahashi's gone. Michael Elgin's gone.
Kenny's gone. Elgin's gone.
Suzuki's gone.
What the hell is Gato doing? And then I had a little mini argument on Twitter with someone about these people, and I appreciate anybody that starts to watch New Japan. I think it's great because it's a great promotion. But don't expect to get WWE Japan watching New Japan, because that's not what it is. And to have people say, oh, well, they're doing it wrong. They're not appealing to the right audience. New Japan Cup appeals to Japanese fans. It's for them.
And those
it's not for Western audiences.
Right. Those of us
watch
who've been
religiously.
Right. The converts will appreciate it for what it is, because we don't expect it to be WWE.
No, if you want New Japan that's catered to a Western audience, watch Wrestle Kingdom, watch the G1, and like Jason said earlier in the week, Best of the Super Juniors to an extent.
One of my friends.
But everything else.
Sorry, go ahead.
Everything else, though, they cater to the New Japan crowd, because guess what? That's who's paying the money, not the WWE fans.
One of my friends this week said they were going to try subscribing to New Japan, and immediately said they were going to look for the stuff with the English commentary, and I stopped them in mid-sentence and I said, wait, before you finish that thought, I understand you're new to New Japan, but try watching it with the Japanese commentary, and if you get used to that, you're going to appreciate it so much more.
Oh, that brings me back to something I wanted to talk about with the ROH pay-per-view, just real quick. Kevin Kelly is so much better when he's not doing play-by-play.
True.
I was surprised to see Kevin Kelly own the Ring of Honor pay-per-view.
I believe they made the deal like the week of to bring him back for that show. But what were you going to say about the commentary, Abby?
It just, you feel so much more with the Japanese commentary. And I mean, you can't explain it other than it makes you feel.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I told him. The emotional reaction of the announcers is so much greater, and it draws you in so much more.
It's the same reason I watch WWE in Spanish, because their commentators are more passionate, and they yell and they scream at the big high spots, and they lose their shit. Not the way Nogami does with New Japan, but it's fun to hear commentators lose their shit when shit goes down.
Yeah, and you get more invested in it because you're hearing people, even though you can't really understand their words, you can understand how they feel about the match.
to put it in context, the person I was talking to was Canadian, so I said to him, you know how you feel when Mauro Ranallo calls a big move? That's exactly how you feel when the New Japan announcers call a big move.
Yeah, I mean, I think the best example of that is if you go back to last year's match between Shibata and Nagata for the Never title, where Nagata won, where Nogami was at ringside screaming and just losing his shit the whole match.
Oh, yeah.
That's why we watch Japanese commentary.
Absolutely. Perfect example. I don't think there's a better one.
That's why we watch it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we have New Japan shows this weekend too, Sunday and Monday, with the finals, semifinals and finals.
In the final, yeah.
Yes, the cup runneth over this weekend. We get the conclusion.
And yeah, one semifinal bracket is already set. Evil versus Bad Luck Fale, happening on the 19th.
Please let Evil win.
I'm expecting it to be a Los Ingobernables final.
That would be fun, although that would be really strange because who would be the bad guy in that match? I don't know.
I don't know, maybe Ishii will beat Sonata, but I don't expect whoever wins the New Japan Cup to challenge for anything other than the Intercontinental title.
If you were going to do that, it would almost make sense for Fale to win.
Well, I mean, I don't see this being a challenge to Okada. I think the people that could logically and reasonably challenge Okada
are
already out.
Yeah, there is that.
I mean, it could be Intercontinental. It could also be the Never title, too.
I don't see anybody challenging for the Never title. Unless,
Evil. That side of the bracket wins, maybe.
Yeah, but I mean, if we come down to, let's say, Shibata and Ishii, which I would love to see again because those two beating up each other never gets old. I can't see it being an Intercontinental choice if it's between Evil and Sonata. They're not going to challenge Naito.
No,
so, I mean, maybe it would be
the Never title.
Yeah. If it's Shibata in the finals, I can see Shibata winning and challenging Naito as a way to now finally move Shibata up the card.
And he deserves it. He deserves to be moved up the card.
Yeah.
Chapin.
Yeah, he did not get the shit for that he probably would have if they hadn't announced Okada's upcoming marriage the same week or like a day and a half later.
Well, congratulations, Okada.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see the finals being good as long as Fale doesn't win. And I only say that because he still got me blocked on Twitter.
He's still mad about your little hat comment. For whatever reason.
I was complimenting the man. I wanted him to have the little hat.
Now, didn't you tell me that
the little hat?
Didn't you tell me Vince Russo unblocked you? And first of all, how would you even know that?
Because somebody had said something about a tweet he did. So instead of trying to look for a report somewhere as to what was said, I searched him on Twitter and the son of a bitch popped up. It's like, oh my God. Yeah, it was, it's kind of surreal. Cause he's had me blocked for so long. I had to double check to make sure that JBL and Road Dogg still had me blocked. Cause if they had unblocked me, hell would I know have frozen over.
I don't think I've ever said anything enough to piss JBL off to get him to block me.
All you have to do is say the sky is blue and he will block you.
Huh.
I think if you address him directly or offer anything that is even remotely a question to him about something that's going on or anything remotely critical, he'll block you. If you don't automatically agree with Road Dogg and try to have a discussion with him, he'll block you when he says, I'm not going to sit here and argue with someone like you about this.
Well, yeah, Road Dogg has become a very corporate WWE mouthpiece, so if it doesn't go with the grain of him being part of that franchise, then you're probably getting blocked. But I didn't realize JBL could be so temperamental in that degree. Like, the way you're putting it sounds like you could have asked him, hey JBL, where was Morrow? And he would have blocked you for that.
Yeah, because that's none of our business.
Well, they did kind of make it our business on SmackDown by immediately saying, well, weather kept him away, so here's JBL and Tom Phillips instead because David Otunga's off filming a movie.
Oh, before we get to WWE, I have to ask you, did you watch TNA from last week?
I've still got it on the DVR, so all I've seen are the highlight clips on YouTube.
You were supposed to break out a bottle of Fireball and sit there and steadily drink while you tried to watch the show.
Yeah, well, that thought did occur to me, and I did plan to do that, but I had other things that came up that I had to get done, so I couldn't devote 2 hours of my life to getting hammered and watching really bad wrestling.
I would say just don't watch it, period.
All right,
it's really not worth it. And then what they did afterwards with the Hardys and the reason behind them doing it, it just kind of left a bad taste in everybody's mouth for the, revamped Impact Wrestling.
And since that time, it's also come out that they're trying to put the squeeze on the Hardys to license the gimmick and pay them a percentage every time they do an indie show.
That's what I was talking about. That's the reason behind them doing it, is because they want part of the Hardys' profits from the gimmick.
I believe Matt responded to that today on Twitter. I'm going to have to find his exact wording, but I know he said something about the Broken Universe will live on and basically shot down the idea that he owed them anything or that he would pay them anything.
Well, the thing is, he had creative control in his prior contract. And if anything, unless there is specific wording in the contract between Anthem and Dixie Carter saying that we get to purchase, quote unquote, intellectual property created by the talent that wasn't under an exclusive contract to you at the time, they really don't have a leg to stand on, because it's not like they started this gimmick when Anthem owned the company. This gimmick started well before that. Matt Hardy footed the bill for the stuff, and Anthem really doesn't have a leg to stand on.
Well, stand is actually part of his tweet because he says, stand your ground, delete your fears, fight for what is rightfully yours.
And it is his. It was reported at the time that they're not in an exclusive contract. They have creative control. Matt Hardy created this. I don't think that they can claim Jeremy Borash had a lot to do with it when he was just the one calling the shows.
No. You know what's funny to me about the whole thing is the Voice of Wrestling report that you were talking about on last week's show went viral in a very big way because every single podcast I listened to after our show all referenced the Voice of Wrestling quitting 45 minutes into Impact. That seemed to get everybody's attention all around the internet.
Well, that's because Garrett Kennedy he has been the most diehard, I won't say TNA apologist, but TNA supporter. Mm-hmm. And he watched every show and found the good in everything. And the fact that he could not sit through an hour of this show says a whole hell of a lot about how it came off.
And I think that might have also played a factor into me not sitting down and opening a bottle of Fireball and watching it, because when I heard one person after another talk about him not wanting to watch the whole show, I'm like, you know what? If the most apologetic Impact Wrestling fan out there couldn't get through it, maybe I just don't even need to bother.
Yeah, and when TNA Mecca throws their hands up in the air and says, fuck the owl, yeah, fuck that out. No, when TNA Mecca goes there, it's bad.
Yeah.
Because those people are just rabid and brainwashed and stupid.
I've actually got yelled at one or two times by TNA Mecca people for not being open-minded about Impact. And I'm like, we got Impact reports on this website. It's not like we're not open-minded. We have a show dedicated to Impact Wrestling and two people who do record a podcast each and every week. We are open-minded about it. It's just it often sucks.
Yeah, and I think they finally realized, these guys were right. This is bad.
Yeah, when you drive off the diehards, you're really doomed. They've only got 300,000 to begin with. They can't go much lower than that.
No. And then it was funny when the ratings report came out, and I don't know if the viewership was the same as the week before or slightly lower, But Anthem pulled a WWE and came out with a statement that touted their strong social media numbers.
Right. They tried to immediately spin it into something good. It was like completely flat in the demo, and I think just very slightly down in total viewers. But then they talked about how it was like 450% up in social media engagement. And I'm like, that is a completely bullshit number. Even if that's what you got from your metrics, it doesn't mean anything because it doesn't translate into actual people watching.
Yeah, those were just people saying, fuck that owl.
Right. That's your social media engagement, is people telling you how crappy you are.
Yeah, and saying, we're turning this shit off because it's just this bad. People tuned in to see it. Okay, well, what are they going to do? And then once everybody saw how bad it was and what other people were saying about it, I was like, no. So if they had more Twitter numbers with a hashtag, it's only because you sucked. And we were talking about how bad you sucked.
Well, on that very same note, and turning it back around to SmackDown again, I saw that their unique authors on Facebook and Twitter were up this week, and I thought to myself, is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? Because I imagine a lot of those people were not really happy with the AJ Styles angle.
This AJ Styles angle has taken a turn for the surreal today, because now AJ is, well, Brian fired him from SmackDown, but now he's on the WWE alumni page.
Right. They moved his profile from SmackDown over to the alumni section.
Yeah.
Which is even funnier because he's right next to AJ Lee. I just love that.
Yeah. And the way that they did that whole car thing with Shane, WWE was really stupid to have a camera in the car that they put up a video of from the camera in the car. To, have more impact, I guess, on Shane getting put through the window. It's like, don't show video from the car. What was this thing for? Ride along later on?
Yeah. I mean, that just immediately screams phony that there would be a camera inside the car filming it.
Yeah, and plus I think a lot of people are finally realizing that this Shane and AJ is actually going to be a match at WrestleMania. I think we kind of all believed that, no, they won't do that.
Oh, I knew they would all along. Brian and Dave have been reporting that for over a month now. But the thing I actually loved about the segment is the fact that Dave Finlay was the one who was there going, help, we need some help. I'm like, yeah, I get Finlay on TV. Even if it's just for this, I get to see Finlay.
And it's like, where's everybody else? Was, Fit just out there for a cigarette or something? And everybody else is just, I put on there, everybody's playing video games and, hanging out in Gorilla. But
that's fine. I fully endorse the idea that Finlay is the only one who actually gives a shit. I'm all for that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the show was good. Raw actually was, I didn't enjoy the whole show, but the end of Raw made up for it.
I almost thought it was overkill because I had been waiting the whole 3 hours for Stephanie to fire Mick or for Mick to fire himself. So it was a little bit of a curveball when he tried to fire her, but I was like, okay, this is just an excuse.
I'm not talking about that part of the segment.
Oh, well,
I wanted to reach through and slap her.
I just figured the minute he said he was firing her, I just thought, okay, hit Hunter's music in 5, 4, 3, 2. I knew he was coming. But
yeah, and then once he came out, it was like, okay, he played his part to perfection. Seth Rollins coming out when none of us really knew that he had been even partially cleared to return to the ring.
Right. Limited physical activity, quote unquote.
And then having, Seth get his pound of flesh, but then Triple H
whack him
destroying
with the crutch.
Seth again.
Right.
It was like, okay, this covers numerous scenarios for WrestleMania. They have covered their ass very well for this.
I think that crutch must have been made out of the same stuff that car window was made out of on SmackDown because he bent that thing in half way too easily.
Well, it was very, very lightweight,
It must have been made out of plastic and cotton candy because it didn't hold up at all. I'm like, how could he even put his weight on that coming down to the ring? Clearly he did.
I think it was done very well though, because it sets up for Seth to come back, in 2 weeks, or it sets up for them to be able to say, okay, the match won't happen because of what happened 2 weeks ago.
I think the part that I actually really liked as much as that, if not maybe a little bit more, was Triple H going full bore evil on Mick by threatening to keep Noel from ever working there and firing Dewey. Like, this is the...
I was saying fire Dewey anyway.
Well, yeah, you would, I know, but I'm just like...
Jason would say Kane Dewey, but I would say just fire him. That's good enough.
So would firing Dewey turn him face, though?
Well, not with this crowd anyway, because the crowd was really behind Mick. They were not into the fact that he was threatening the livelihood of Mick's children. It was played perfectly. They bought into it hook, line, and sinker.
I mean, yeah, for me being someone who didn't see it but read the report of, who does your report for Raw? I'm forgetting his name.
Ian Clark.
Ian Clark's report. I mean, yeah, like I said on Facebook, it seemed like it was DQ finish, DQ finish, DQ finish, DQ finish, Hunter standing tall at the end. It's like, wow, nothing changes on Raw in 20 years.
3 out of 6 matches were a non-finish.
Yeah, well, the one that sticks out the most was the tag team match, because that was purposefully engineered to try to get them out of being at WrestleMania, which, if you really think about it, doesn't make a whole lot of sense, because you would think Gallows and Anderson would want a WrestleMania payday.
Yeah. But yeah, that ended in a non-finish. Nia and Bayley ended in a non-finish, and I can't remember the other one, even though I did watch and review the show. There was a third one in there that ended in a non-finish.
Yeah, I can't even remember what it was now either, so it must not have been an important match.
Like anything on Raw was an important match.
Well, the Austin Aries first ever Raw match, that was an important match.
Oh, it was Owens and Owens and Joe and Zayn and Jericho that ended in a non-finish.
Right, that's right.
Oh yeah, Austin Aries was good, except for his Oscar the Grouch jacket. It's like, you gave up the little cape for this? It looked like the Briscoes' pants, only in some kind of shiny navy blue stuff.
I didn't mind it.
Well, I didn't mind it, but it's like, I didn't like the cape, but dude, you could have gone with just a decent looking jacket instead of looking like a 3-year-old guy after this one with scissors.
I've seen so many worse things that it didn't even faze me at all.
Oh, but speaking of Austin Aries, did y'all watch 205 Live last night?
I have yet to see it. I apologize.
Oh, that 5-man match for the WrestleMania match to face Neville.
I heard
Holy
it was
hell, these
really,
guys
really,
just went
really
full,
good. Yeah, go ahead.
God, they went full on psychotic murder.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Nese hit a knee on Aries up against the barricade that I swear to God I thought it killed Austin Aries. It was that. I mean, we think Kenny Omega's V-trigger is intense. This was 10 times that move.
Ooh.
Well,
I thought they had killed each other.
That's what Tony Nese had been promising in his SmackDown promo. He said he was gonna run through everybody in the division and nobody was gonna stop him, so I guess he was trying to live up to that.
Oh, he did. I mean, it scared me. It's like, oh God. But the match was great. I loved that match. It was so good.
I intend to go out of my way to see it, but as for the WrestleMania card, I think it is pretty well set in stone now with the events of Raw and SmackDown this week. I can't imagine anything else they can add to it at this point. It's already like 10 or 11 matches deep.
Oh, I'm sure they can bring back some past superstars to go over some of the younger talent.
I swear though, if Miz and Maurice and Nikki and Cena end up in Cena proposing to Nikki, I will throw up.
You know what though? I actually liked that segment on SmackDown this week, and normally I want nothing to do with Miz and Maurice, and normally I'm just tired of John Cena and Nikki Bella, but it was actually executed well enough that by the end, I was kind of hooked on it when Daniel Bryan came out and started saying he really wanted to punch Miz in the face, and when Miz imitated his moves so badly, he wanted to punch him in the face, and he just kept everything he said was like, I want to punch you in the face.
Punch you in the face, yeah.
But instead, we're going to have a punch face extravaganza at WrestleMania. I was like, that is the perfect conclusion, Daniel. Now I really do want to see John Cena punch Miz in the face. I'm actually into this now.
Yes, the face punching extravaganza. And I think the next 2 weeks will be good with the build up. I just don't want, after everything that WWE has presented about Nikki Bella and John Cena's relationship, from the, hey, bitch, sign a contract to move in with me, to every other show him saying, I'm never getting married, to have this all lead up to him proposing to Nikki. It's like somebody brought that up last night, and it's like, after the WWE presented story on their relationship, who the hell is going to buy into this? You know, this man has said forever, I'm not getting married, we're not having kids, we're not getting married. It's never going to happen. Here, sign a contract to come live at my house that says I can kick you out with 36 hours notice.
Well,
you know, it's like, and then somebody else said today, it was like, there's something about this couple that I just can't stand seeing on WWE television. It's like fake, plastic, hypocritical, patronizing, condescending, any of the above. There's just, I don't know. I would much prefer to see Miz and Maurice go over because they seem like the more believable duo. As hard as that is to say, because I hate Miz with a purple passion, and, you know, Maurice looks like a Barbie doll.
I guess my thing is with it that it is phony if you've been following along with how it's played out in reality television, but because...
And reality itself.
Right, but the thing is, with Miz actually being such an effective heel, which is weird for me to say that I'm actually complimenting him, so you know that he's doing something right for me to even go there to begin with. But he has made so much fun of them for being plastic and fake. It's actually started to have the opposite effect. That now I kind of do believe in them as a couple just because The Miz is such a piece of shit.
Oh, God. Where's the common sense, people? It's out there. You know, it's out there. Just go grab it.
I know, but it's just he's really damn good at his job, and I don't want to say that because I can't stand him, but he's good at being a guy you can't stand.
Exactly. I mean, I hate him, but of course he's a heel. I'm supposed to hate him. But I swear, some of the stuff he says, especially on Talking Smack, it's like, damn, you're saying exactly what I think. Which is bad because I don't like you. Shut up.
You know, this would probably get me blocked by JBL, speaking of him again, but if I ever did tweet him, I would probably say something like, dude, I used to really love hating you. Because he was such a great heel on SmackDown back in the day.
Now you just aggravate me. Blocked.
But seriously, I would mean that as a compliment. If I ever met him, I'd shake his hand and go, God, I used to hate you.
Block.
Well, he can't block me in person. Maybe he'd block me afterward when he saw a report about it.
It's been a good week for wrestling, though, except for, you know, Impact.
Well, what can we even say about Impact? We haven't even seen this week's Impact. And you can say it about last week.
I don't plan to see this week's Impact. I don't care anymore.
I think that's going to be the telling statistic, is how many people drop off from last week to this week.
Can we actually make that the theme song for Impact Wrestling? We can go back to Phil Collins. I don't care anymore. Whoa. No.
No, we need to make Fuck That Owl the theme for Impact Wrestling.
Okay, well, we need like a grunge metal or rock band to scream that at the top of their lungs.
Here's a little song I wrote. You might want to sing it note for note. Don't worry. Fuck that owl.
Fuck the owl. Yeah, that one.
Fuck the owl. Be happy.
No, then PETA would get after him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they'll probably come after Remy for the t-shirts. They'll be like, wait a minute. That's not right.
That's animal abuse. We're not really talking fucking an owl, lady, okay? Just calm down.
Yeah, this is not a furry convention, all right?
What other news was there this week?
Oh, Chris Jericho.
Cody Hall signed with Noah.
Right. And Chris Jericho's going to be back in June for more dates after the Fozzy tour.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. I'm trying to remember the news I've written up in the last couple of days.
Oh, I've got the news in front of me. Let me see what else stands out. Oh, only one appearance left for Goldberg before WrestleMania. That's Raw on March 27th in Philadelphia.
And if he doesn't sign a contract, WrestleMania will be the last time we see him.
And some people will probably be very thankful for that.
It's been a decent run, but quit while you're ahead.
Yeah, the Nostalgia Act has played its course now. It's time for it to end.
Oh, and today NXT announced that they will be doing, what's the festival thing called again? Download Festival?
Oh, yeah, in the UK.
Yes, and one very
interesting omission.
Telling absence from the poster is Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yeah, which has everybody thinking he's getting called up to the main roster after WrestleMania.
Yeah, Hideo Itami was also not on the poster. And I think their plans for him are to have him go up to the cruiserweights.
Yeah, I could see him on 205 Live. That makes sense for him.
Oh, God, please give me Tozawa and Hideo Itami.
Oh, yeah.
Please.
Oh, yes.
Please.
Yes.
Please.
Yes. That might be too Japanese for a WWE audience, though. I don't know. But I would love it.
Oh, hell no.
I would totally love it.
Tozawa in there screaming, and hollering, and them out there chanting for Kenta to do his go to sleep, and you got one hell of a match right there.
That is the thing I wonder, is a WWE main roster fan going to chant CM Punk at him when he does that? I don't know.
I will go, I'll go shoot some people.
Have there been any rumors on... Have there been any rumors on what show Shinsuke is going to go to when he does get called up?
Well, Vince is really, really high on AJ and wants him on Raw. So maybe Shinsuke would end up on SmackDown to replace the presence that AJ has.
That's too bad, because I'd really like to see a program in WWE with AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura like we saw at Wrestle Kingdom.
Oh,
that would be insane.
Yeah.
Well, it does make sense for him to be on SmackDown if he's going to be part of 205 Live, so.
Well, not Shinsuke.
Not Shinsuke.
Oh, sorry, Kent. I'm sorry. I got lost there for a second. I apologize.
Oh, but speaking of Japanese folks in WWE, the big news today was the tryouts down at the Performance Center.
Mm-hmm.
And Io being down there.
Yes, Io
and
Shirai was there.
WWE publishing that she was down there.
Yeah.
And then we all go nuts about it, and 30 minutes later, WWE pulls their article and takes every single mention and picture of her out of it.
Too late. It already got out.
Yeah, but it's like she's under contract to Stardom. She is their champion. And we're thinking WWE did this because they don't want to be accused of contract tampering again.
Right. But there's clearly the writing on the wall at this point that she's going to have to vacate those titles and just move on. Or
lose them, or, do whatever.
Right.
But, with somebody under contract, something like that could be, the Ring of Honor threatened it. That could easily happen again, but. Oh God, Southpaw Regional Wrestling.
Okay, somebody has to explain that to me, because I saw the tweet from WWE and I didn't know what the fuck they were talking about. Is this
Did
a parody?
Did you watch the video?
No, I didn't watch the video. I only saw the tweet.
You have to watch the video.
I'll do that right now. Let me pull it up.
We saw that when it popped up on Twitter today, and it was like, oh, what the hell is this? And then we watched, and it was like, oh my God, what is this amazingness? It's just like a parody on old Southern wrestling.
All right. I've got the tweet here somewhere. Let me find it.
With Lance Catamaran. And, I put the tweet up in chat earlier.
Oh, yeah. Here it is. Coming this Friday, SRW.
You have to watch it. It's just hilarious.
WWE teases new comedy show.
I've got it playing right now, so I'll give you my live reaction. There's a tape going into the VCR. Whoa.
Fire this up too.
Whoa. Oh my goodness. Oh, look at that hair.
Wrestling.
And it's Cena. Oh my goodness.
A guy in a lizard costume.
I'm pretty sure I saw him in the Southern Territories long ago.
That was like John Cena trying to be Lance Russell.
It's Lance Catamaran.
Yes. Oh my goodness. That did actually tickle my funny bone. That's not bad.
It's like, my God, if they do this instead of something like Holy Foley, I will watch that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Just from a 30-second teaser. I mean, they even had a cameo of Sex Ferguson in there. Remember Doc Gallows' character from the Hoots podcast?
Right.
Yeah, Sex Ferguson is in there. It's like, oh my God, this is going to just be amazing if they do it right. And looking at that, 30-second clip is like, they've done this right.
Mm-hmm. Although, will some people take offense to it and say, you're mocking what we love?
Yeah, I saw about 5 people on Twitter do that today when there were like 300, like, oh my God, why isn't it Friday yet? It's like it's something different and it's something funny and it's something entertaining with the possibility to be really good. Let's just give it a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we know Vince hated Southern wrestling and he hated the territories and he destroyed wrestling and he bought everything and he's the spawn of Satan and quite possibly the Antichrist. But by God, just give it a chance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, how do you know it's bad until you see it? Even if you watch it and it's terrible, then you can quit 45 minutes in. But if it's good, then it's good. It doesn't matter if it's WWE.
It just looks hilarious from the trailer.
Like I said.
Because you can kind of see what they're doing with it, and it's like, it's everybody on the damn roster from Cena down doing this.
Mm-hmm. It popped me. I will not lie. That was a funny clip, and it was only 30 seconds, so I want to see more.
Mm-hmm. It's like the Elvis impersonator and Carl Anderson in drag and
but just the ridiculous hair and the ridiculous outfits they were wearing, that was the best part.
Did you catch Cesaro's wig when he and Cena were at the, the announce table? Uh-huh.
That was great.
But Rusev and Lana in their Nashville get-up that they had for their wedding, their engagement photos where they're hillbillies or whatever, that alone is worth the price of admission.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if we don't get ICW on the network, maybe we get Southpaw instead.
Either way, it's going to be ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Well,
what other news was there this week? I can't remember of anything else big right off the top of my head.
I'm going to check one more time before we wrap it up, but I feel like we hit most of the major points. Jason, can you think of anything while I'm checking the news here?
Nothing's coming to mind. Yeah, we picked. Yeah, the big one was Christopher Daniels winning the ROH title after 15 years of not winning it.
Mm-hmm. Well deserved. I hate using the word deserved because it's the least favorite chant of all chants in wrestling right now as far as I'm concerned, but if there was one case where actually saying you deserve it is appropriate, after watching his entire Ring of Honor career from getting tapes traded to me by a guy who worked at a video game store right up to the present day, I can actually say he deserves it because he has busted his ass for those entire 15 years.
There's one chant I hate more than you deserve it, and that is, this is wrestling. Well, no shit.
Well,
you went to a wrestling match and you saw wrestling. Way to go.
I think fans used to do that just ironically because WWE was so not wrestling for so long.
Yeah, it's true. It's just an awesome chant for me.
Yeah, let's see. Rusev had surgery on his shoulder.
Right, he's going to miss WrestleMania. That sucks.
The thing that got to me this week that kind of got under my skin was Pro Wrestling Illustrated in their Hall of Fame reporting this week.
Oh,
because
the whole
Monday
William
they
Regal
announced,
thing? Yeah, Regal was supposed to, and then he's not.
Yeah, Monday they announced that Regal was going to be the next inductee, and then the next day it was, no, he's not. Mm-hmm. And it's Mike Johnson doing this, and it's like, pick a story and stick to it.
Well, I did at least appreciate that he admitted it was wrong and retracted it.
I did too. But it's like 24 hours. You announce it and then, our sources say, well, what were they drinking yesterday when they told you he was going to be in it?
Oh, I know one thing we forgot to mention. Lucha Underground is now on Netflix.
Awesome.
Can't remember
I
how
can
many
check it out
seasons, but I know the first
easier.
season. Yeah, it's under the reality TV section, which is a really weird place to put Lucha Underground because out of all the wrestling we watch, it's probably the least real.
Oh, I know something we forgot about too.
What?
That list Abby had of the top 20 Japanese wrestlers of all time, where Kazuchika Okada was number 4 and Hulk Hogan made the list.
What?
Completely worked and kayfabed list.
Yeah, if Hulk Hogan's on the list, it's a bad list.
Well, it was 200 wrestlers voting on it, and if you watch the TV Asahi video, I mean, it wasn't people that voted on it. You had Tenryu up there. You had Ibushi up there. You had Muta up there. You know, it was them voting on it. But yeah, Okada being at number 4, that was just stupid.
Well, coincidentally enough, since Hogan's on the list, it does bring up another piece of news we hadn't touched on. Hogan's beachfront whatever shop, whatever the thing is called, has opened a branch in Orlando, and he's going to be there over WrestleMania weekend. So the rumor mill is flying again that he'll show up at WrestleMania.
Brother.
I guess there's no reason for him not to now that his lawsuit's been settled.
Yeah.
You got to accept he's probably going to be back at some point. Whether you like it or not, they're going to use him. You know they will.
I don't have to like it. Okay, I'm at the point where I just really want WWE to realize that they need to focus on the stars they have instead of the stars they used to have.
And stop writing every last blessed thing your stars of today are supposed to say. You're not going to create any stars of tomorrow by completely scripting everybody on your roster. You want to know why you don't have stars right now? Yeah, because you have micromanaged them to death.
You know what? That actually reminds me of something from Raw that I did want to mention that seemed improvised, but I don't know if it was, but it sure felt like it was. Because when Braun Strowman attacked Roman Reigns, that was obviously part of the plan. But when he looked at Shawn Michaels in the ring and said, "I'd do it to you too if I wanted to," that felt improvised, and I popped for that.
That Reigns promo that bugged me.
I think it was supposed to. I think he's going heel for this.
Well, he doesn't have any other choice but to go heel for it because he's sure as hell not going to get cheered when he beats Taker clean at Mania.
No, that's going to be a big time Orlando boo fest. It's going to be boo birds everywhere. Yeah,
that's going to shake the Camping World Stadium to its foundation. That's how bad the boos are going to be.
There will be more people.
Okay, going through the...
Go ahead.
No, you were saying more people booing him then than when?
More people booing him than Xavier Woods has subscribers to Up, Down, Down.
Ooh. I was just scrolling through the news. Let's see. Finn Balor returned to action last weekend on the Raw house shows.
Him and Triple H both on the same show.
Mm-hmm. Hideo Itami returned at the NXT show in Orlando. Brock Lesnar beat Kevin Owens in a minute at Madison Square Garden.
With a bunch of suplexes and an F5.
Mm-hmm. They're de-pushing Sami Zayn now because they think that with Balor returning and Chris Jericho turning face, that they don't need another face along with those two and Roman Reigns on Raw.
Please send them to SmackDown, please.
And Sasha
Somebody
Banks,
tell me what's wrong with that story.
A lot of things. The fact they don't know what Sami Zayn's value is, top of the list.
Jericho taking over a month off.
Sasha
Balor's
Banks.
not back yet.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I keep wanting to get this one in. That Sasha Banks told Lillian Garcia that she was married, which has been an open secret for about a year now, but she finally admitted it in public.
Yeah, because she was worried about the reaction she would get from fans over who she chose as a husband.
Right.
It's like, that's sad. That's just sad in a way that there are these fans out here that think we own so much of these people that we would, honest to God, and it would be honest to God, give them a hard time over who they chose to marry.
No, but her exact quote was, "Our fans are so crazy sometimes. I see what they write to him on Twitter, and I don't like that stuff. If you're saying he's ugly or he shouldn't be with me because of this or that, that hurts me." And I agree with her. I would actually want to keep it from the public if she thought that's what would happen.
Yeah, and it would happen.
Yeah, I don't like to speak ill of wrestling fans because we are all wrestling fans. That's why we have a wrestling podcast. But some of y'all just need to chill out a little and let people live their lives. It's like Seth Rollins said, knock it off.
People need to realize that whether we as fans like to admit it or not, for the most part, these people are playing characters on a television set, on a television show. And they have lives and friends and families and stories and value outside of a wrestling ring. And we don't own them any more than we own the cast of Law and Order or the cast of Criminal Minds or the cast of This Is Us. It's a show. Let these people live their lives.
This is actually something that I addressed to Les Thatcher and Doc Young on Wrestling Weekly because they were asking for questions from the listeners to answer in the mailbag, and the question I sent in was, why do you think so many wrestling fans shit on wrestlers for doing non-wrestling things? That's not the exact way I worded it, I'm paraphrasing, but basically I was reacting to the fact that people were laughing at Dana Brooke for finishing dead last in the Arnold Classic. Like, you know what? None of you are actually doing the Arnold Classic, and it's a really tough competition, whether you like bodybuilding, whether you respect bodybuilding or not. It's really hard, so even coming in 14th out of 14th or 16th out of 16th, still respect her for putting in the effort, because she's working a full-time WWE schedule and tried to do this because she's passionate about it, and it's something she enjoys. So let's applaud her for going out there and competing in it at all, instead of just laughing at her for finishing last.
Exactly. And how many people did she beat out to get to be 14th out of 14?
Exactly. The fact that she was even in it at all is something in and of itself.
Mm-hmm.
But it just seems to me there are a lot of wrestling fans who, like you just said a minute ago, so want to own the wrestler and want to own them as part of wrestling that if they do anything outside of wrestling, they immediately crap on it.
Yeah. And it's sad because these are people just like we are people. Mm-hmm. You know, and our customers don't get to own us in our jobs, even though some of them think they should, just like in anything else. So we don't get to own these men and women either. Show a little bit of respect and restraint.
And if they want to try other things because they're passionate about it, let them pursue their passion. Nobody tells you not to play a guitar if you're passionate about it and think you can play a guitar. If you want to do it, do it. And if a wrestler wants to try being in a movie, then let them try. Whether it works out or not, they have that right.
Yeah, and it's not just that, but I mean, you look at Sasha Banks, she gets shit for actually having a personal life. Mm-hmm. You know, a relationship, a long-term relationship. That's a little bit more extreme than, oh, Dana Brooke went and did this bodybuilding contest, or, you know, whatever. It's like the fangirls that trash Renee Young about Dean Ambrose. It's the, you know, going after Sasha's husband because he's not a 10, or won't make the cover of GQ or whatever. You know, it's like, it's not your life. Shut the hell up.
Yeah. Oh, unfortunately,
unless it's Tai Chi, then give Tai Chi all the hell you want, because he deserves to die.
Oh, Lord. What else we got? Swagger was officially released.
Right. They dragged their feet on that all the way till Monday, and I think they did it just to fuck with him so he couldn't take his bookings in the UK.
And he's still under a 90-day no-compete from everything that we've heard.
Or he could just forego the no-compete and refuse the money and start working dates.
True. Cedric Alexander is out injured 3 to 5 months with a knee injury.
Yeah, that sucks for him.
What else?
Joey Ryan's getting his own comic book.
Oh, God. Speaking of Joey Ryan, I'll have to send this to you in the chat later on. He and, God, what's that guy's name? Dino Daisuke from DDT. Mm-hmm. I don't know if y'all know who I'm talking about. The very flamboyant guy who likes to, one of his signature moves is shoving other guys' heads in his trunks.
Yeah.
In DDT.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He and Joey Ryan are having a match.
Oh, that's going to be something else.
Yeah, and Daisuke, DDT listed Daisuke's problems and issues with the match, and now he wants it to be an anal explosion match. Don't ask me what the hell that means, because I haven't.
Hayabusa had one of those with Mr. Ganatsuki. It's where they stick a firecracker between the guy's butt cheek, the loser's butt cheek, and then light it.
Speaking of Japanese wrestlers and fireworks, who caught the very apropos named "Please Don't Die 2" show this past weekend with Ibushi on it?
I missed it.
Did you see any of the footage?
I have not seen the footage either.
I will send you the footage. Yeah, Ibushi was he was in a match with Jimmy Havoc. So that right there tells you just how crazy this was. Ibushi had got fireworks, shot him off at the sky, at the crowd, set himself on fire, then did a moonsault off Jimmy Havoc's car. This thing made Comedy Central shows over here.
Wow.
Yeah, that's, that's how crazy this was. And Jimmy Havoc is going to start charging a signing fee for his car. It was just, I can't remember what promotion put it on, but the name of the show was Please Don't Die 2.
All right.
It's like, if there was ever a more appropriately named show with Ibushi on it, I don't know what it could be. But yes, if you have not seen that, search it out simply to see Ibushi blow himself up with fireworks.
All right. I've got 3 more news items, and then I'll end my list, and you guys can tack on any more if you want. But my last 3 are Goldberg's film Checkpoint came out this week on Blu-ray, VOD, and DVD. I saw the reviews. They didn't look too kind, so I probably won't be going out of my way to see that one. But speaking of movies, Cesaro was asked to name his favorite film, and he said he couldn't name just one, so he picked all of the Star Wars movies, Gladiator, Forrest Gump, and his most recent favorite was Captain America Civil War. And my final piece of news, Vampiro, real name Ian Hodgkinson, was named the head of talent relations for Lucha Libre FMV, the parent of Lucha Underground.
Which apparently rubbed a lot of people the wrong way.
It did?
That's what I have heard, that caused some ripples in the locker room.
I don't know. It seems like he's a guy that would actually be good with the locker room, considering he's a wrestler himself and has been in that scene, in that Mexican scene forever and ever.
We'll see, although like what we're seeing with AAA falling apart. Hopefully that won't happen to Lucha Underground.
No. But any other news, Abby, or should we go ahead and do plugs?
No, that was all I've got.
All right. Well, Abby, you start. Top Rope Press, and what else?
Top Rope Press, I will plug New Japan World, the best 999 yen you can spend every month. I'll plug DDP World simply because I know I'm going to be so self-hating that I'm going to watch this Ryan anal explosion match just for shits and giggles, just like I'm going to watch the wrestling match they just got done doing on a train. Because DDT is just crazy. And I will plug Progress and Rev Pro and ICW. Again, these streaming services are less than New Japan. They're less than WWE. They run about $8 a month. Just try it for a month, and if you're going to try one out of all of them, as much as I love Progress, go with Rev Pro, because you've got the New Japan stars there and the stars you get in ICW and Progress, and they just do a great job with the big shows.
Right.
Do yourself a favor and just spend $7.50 on 1 month.
Unintentionally, you just reminded me of one more piece of news when you said Big Show. He's in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal now, which officially means his match with Shaquille O'Neal is not happening.
Darn.
Yes, and he is retiring next February. So we only have Show around for less than another year.
Right. So probably no chance of that match happening at next year's WrestleMania either, which I'm really not sad about.
Let me cry a river.
Exactly. Well, hopefully Jason's not eating anything spicy that's making him cry a river, but what's up on Veggie Bending right now?
Nothing lately. I'll have to get some more of my cooking pictures up. I've got a bunch of cooking pictures on my phone and just haven't gotten around to blogging them yet. But you can check out my cooking blog at veggiebending.wordpress.com if you haven't stopped by there yet. Check it out. It's got some vegan goodies there to check out. I'll plug New Japan World too, njpwworld.com. It's the best 999 yen you can spend a month. And for the Geeky Podcast, check out the Completely Unnecessary Podcast that Pat the NES Punk does. If you like retro video games and that sort of thing, you'll enjoy that podcast. And last but not least, I'm going to plug the Poseidon Adventure match because, damn, it's the Poseidon Adventure Splash match. Google it, watch it.
Well, since you mentioned the Completely Unnecessary Podcast, I have to actually plug a little something on top of that. The GoFundMe for Ian's medical bills, because he's had some really, really serious problems. He's had things that basically prevented him from doing the podcast for 6 months, stomach ailments, intestinal issues. The hospital bills mounted up because he kept doing procedure after procedure and they couldn't go find anything wrong. And then he had to get a specialist and they couldn't find anything wrong either. So it's been really tough on him. And if you want to help out, GoFundMe.com/Ian's-medical-help. IANS. So he's a really good dude. I've actually traded email with him before about things I've been looking for because he owns a video game store called Luna. He's a nice guy. He's a really essential part of the Completely Unnecessary Podcast. Not saying Pat didn't do fine without him, but I'm saying it's more fun when Ian's there, and we want Ian to get better. So if you can help him out with his medical bills, please do. And if TK O'Ryan has a fundraiser for his medical bills, you might want to throw a few bucks his way as well. I don't know if he does yet or not, but damn, he could probably use it right about now. And for that matter, Tomoaki Hanma, if he has one, then throw a few bucks his way too. But make sure you check them out and know that they're official before you give any money to anybody.